Hey, YouTube. When you're a prepper, you're a very healthy skeptic in a lot of ways. It's always good to kind of double check the facts that you have and the things that you're told, regardless of who it comes from. I've been told things that have been wrong by people who are close to me. They didn't mean to tell me wrong information. It's just they had the wrong information to begin with. So while you can trust friends and family, some things on some topics you definitely want to just double check just because of the implications that would happen if they were wrong. And when we talk about global warming, it's one of those things that it has lots of implications for behavior and for different political movements if we move in the direction that we're going, saying that, global warming is a real phenomenon. And so the more you look into it, the more you find that it's not even true. And there's a lot of great websites, literally hundreds that debunk this. One of them that I kind of like myself personally is globalclimatescam.com. But once again, there's many more. So I just want to thank globalclimatescam.com for some of these ideas, or at least the outline of it. And so basically I put the rest of it together myself, and with different ideas here and with different, other sources of information that are very diverse. And so let's just take some data. Some of the latest data for record sea ice in Antarctica, or the Antarctic, is in 2014, where the Antarctic ice was just, unbelievable. Just very dense and very plentiful. And I'm not sure if you remember, but the global warming expedition that got stuck and they had to get rescued. This is just ridiculous. Saying there's all this melting. Yeah, maybe in certain parts of the world, and then in other parts of the world, there's a lot more ice that was added that actually is even more ice than what's been melted. So things happen in cycles. Also in 2014, the Great Lakes in the North America also had record ice. And then Lake Superior only had 3 ice-free months in 2014. Other data points show that in 2014 saw a record snowfall in many parts of the world. 2014 also had record cold temperatures, including, you probably remember, polar vortex. And the tidal gauges that show the rise in the sea level, most of them worldwide didn't even go up. And the few that did were way below expectations. And so barely even moved on the gauge. Polar bears are thriving, and the moose are making a comeback. But the moose thing was all kind of a scam to begin with, just like the polar bears to a large degree. It was because of the wolf population. And once a lot of the areas and parts of the world allowed, especially in North America, they allowed the hunting of the predators of the wolves, the moose population came back. But it was all blamed on global warming, just like a lot of things are blamed on global warming. Some more reasons. NASA's been caught all over the place manipulating data. Temperature data is changing the data historically to try to make every year the warmest year. And you've noticed that. It's like every year for like the last 10 years, it's like the warmest year ever. Yeah, when you go back only like maybe 100 or so years is all that's even recorded, and they don't talk about the cycles of ups and downs. And so there's all kinds of manipulation with NASA. The more I know about NASA, they're just pathetic, just pathetic. While they contribute a lot to society, somewhat in terms of technology, man, they conceal more information. They have more dark programs. They have more compartmentalized types of issues going on. They're definitely not transparent as an organization. And even just recently, there's been one of many petitions. This one actually had over 31,000 scientists that signed it that says that they do not believe in man-made global warming. And then if you go back on the actual real temperature data, you can see that for over 18 years now, we haven't had any kind of warming. No warming at all on the planet. And compared to what it was before. In fact, it's cooling. We're actually going into a cooling period. Now, this next part is very interesting. And basically, this is saying that carbon dioxide is not the cause of global warming or heat, or any kind of warming cycle at all. There's been no evidence whatsoever. It's just all very broad speculation. And it's not even a theory at this point. It's just kind of like speculation from scientists and people who have that agenda. And so what happens is that when the Earth actually warms, the side effect is that carbon is released. You don't have to be a whiz-bang genius to know this. Now, scientists are saying that are the big proponents that push this publicly. Oh, all this carbon makes it warmer, causes greenhouse effect and all this. No, it is completely not true. I mean, you don't have to look that hard at all. What happens is the warming starts first, and then carbon is released, mostly through the oceans and stuff. And so what you see here is that the changes in the deep ocean circulation, solar activity of the sun, could be volcanic activity. Whatever it is that's warming the surface or warming the iosphere, whatever it is that's warming the planet in general, is the cause for the release of the carbon dioxide, okay, that causes this increase of it. But the warming already happened before the carbon was there. So this is just like the biggest farce ever. And it's just so easy to debunk all this. And then they act like all this carbon is bad. And it's like, okay, plants need more carbon. Plants need to breathe, and they do better when there's a higher concentration of carbon. If you go back any of the records, especially the fossil records, and you see time periods that there's a lot more carbon dioxide in the air, the plants are just thriving like you wouldn't believe. So why would this be a bad thing that there's more carbon in the air? In fact, but all the scientists are still showing, though, that there isn't any kind of increase at all. And this is another farce. Even if there was more carbon, it wouldn't be a bad thing. But there isn't even any more carbon. And that's another thing. But even if it was, and I kind of hope it does have more carbon, because it would increase the plant production of food for us humans. And that's not a bad thing. So we can thrive better. So anyways, these are just a few of hundreds and hundreds of other things that you could say that counter the argument of global warming. I mean, where's Al Gore? Almost every one of his predictions up until this point, especially those I think that he made about 2015, they were all completely debunked, and none of them came true. And I'm not sure if you watched all that stuff, The Inconvenient Truth and his video series and all his lectures. And I watched him in passing. I didn't even believe him back then. But he's this massive oil conglomerate type of businessman. He flies around on these Lear jets and so forth, spilling all kind of carbon. And, you can tell just by these people who push this agenda, they don't even believe it because they don't even do things to curtail their own carbon footprint. So these are just some thoughts of my own and those of those who research this. Once again, thanks to the website globalclimatescam.com and the many others that put time into building their websites on this matter. At this particular point in junction in 2016, this is the very last day of August. I just wanted to say that if you fall for this scam and you believe in carbon that is the cause for global warming, or that any of this man-made global warming crap is real, then you have a lot to do to get caught up. And I hope you do that. As always, I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone is doing research and learning about their world, learning out what's true and what's not in the world they live in, and everyone is safe. And I'll catch y'all later.